So I'm on chapter 40, I think, of Cursed by Marissa Meyer. So just in general, there will be spoilers just for the book, just so be aware. So there is something with going on within this book that is disturbing, to say the least. And that is the situation with Cyrilda and her unborn child, her baby. So, as just to reiterate what is going on with Cyrilda within this story, is that she, in the first book, becomes pregnant with a child by the guild, who is actually a prince but has been cursed. It's all kind of weird. Like, he's technically a kind of a ghost, but not really a ghost. But somehow, I'm not 100% sure how that worked. I think it has something to do with the magic of her, giving him, he's like the Rumpelstiltskin character, where, she promises her firstborn child to him. And so I think that had something to do with the magic had something to do with it. But so she is essentially taken out of her body, and her physical form is being kept by the Earl King somewhere, and her body is actively going through the pregnancy, but her spirit of sort is not. So we get to the, this is what I would maybe consider the in other books to be the climax of the series, or I guess it could be that, that point in the series where, like, the characters are at their lowest. They've basically lost at this point. So they end up going to this new castle, and Cyrilla finds out that the king is collecting these creatures, but you find out that these creatures are actually the 7 gods, and he's been slowly collecting them over time. And they go down to the gates of Fairlorn, which is where you go, where the dead come out, or you go to the world of the dead, or whatever. But the thing is that it is a mourning moon, and that means that the spirits of the dead can come back to communicate and talk with their families. And the Earl King trades all of the spirits of the castle to get his wife Pirsta back. Now, Pirsta is even worse than the Earl King in her cruelty and in just her ferocity. And he forces Cyrilla to make a bargain with him in order to free the children, because there's these 5 children that Cyrilla was like mentored within her village, and the Earl King killed them in order to force her to come back. And he would hold them, their spirits over her, like, I will hurt them if you do not do as I say. And he promises that he will free them if Cyrilla gives permission for Pirsta to enter her body, her actual physical form, the physical form that is actively going through the pregnancy. So, which gives me the same feel, like, this whole, like, I'm really enjoying this book, but that whole thing really reminded me of that just weird feeling I get whenever I watch the Doctor Who episodes with Amy, where Amy is not actually in her consciousness is not actually in her body, but her body's being kept somewhere else, and she's going through the same sort of thing that Cyrilla is going through. So also the thing is about Pirsta has always wanted her own child, but the thing is that she cannot have a child. And it was mentioned in the book that Pirsta and the Earl King had gone to this other guy to ask for her to have a child, and the god refused to do that, because she's like, Pirsta's too evil. Like, no child would grow in her. She's evil, and even if it did, it would be a monster. So now Pirsta is in Cyrilda's body. She is in her body, and taking over control, and then Cerilda and Guild, who are no longer tied to the human world. I mean, they're not tied to any castle anymore, so they're able to leave. And there's this, like, I don't know, like, they're not connected to any world, so they're neither living nor dead. They're ring wraiths. Not really. But one thing one thing that I am liking about this book is that anytime I think that I know exactly what is going to happen, either I am completely wrong, or two, I'm in the right direction, but I needed to take another left turn, because, like, I had a feeling that they were going to try to put Pirsta inside of Cerilda's body. I kind of got that, but what I think is going to happen next is they are going to go back to the other castle, and that is where they're going to free the princess, because Guild had a sister, and the weird thing is that the sister's body is in the other castle, but her soul is in the castle where the Earl King and Pirsta are now. But also, I just thought about this. Pirsta and the Earl King are in love. Cerilda is not in love with the Earl King. So that that is disturbing. Like, did I think this, because this is like a young adult book would have so many, like, oh my god, okay, because it's like Cerilda's body is just a body to the Earl King, and it doesn't matter that he's now stuck his quote-unquote other wife inside of her, and, like, damn, that's disturbing. So we'll see where things go. I'm kind of thinking that there's going to be like I said, this possibility of them I don't even know, actually, which is kind of, like, refreshing in a lot of ways with books, that I'm not 100% sure where the book is going to go, because it is a duology, so things need to be, like, for the most part, wrapped up in this story. But I'm kind of like, at this point, what are they gonna do? Like, how are they going to free the gods? How are they going to free themselves? How are they going to put themselves back into their bodies? Like, I'm assuming when they get to the castle, they're gonna go find Guild's body, and Guild's gonna go back into his body, which is going to be interesting, because he won't be able to see Cerilda, because her body is in the other castle, and being possessed currently by a crazy huntress. But I don't know. There's a lot that needs to be wrapped up in, like, 20 chapters. So, I don't know. We'll see.